Joe Kennedy, welcome to the program. Also want to welcome Michael Berry, First Liberty Institute Senior Counsel. Joe, I saw this happen this week, and I thought, what happened?
Yeah. Well, number one thing is we have health problems here in Florida for my father-in-law, and we just got his test results last week, so that played a large part in it. And, you know, it's been a marathon for the past past 8 years, fighting to get back on the football field. And the only thing I wanted was to be able to be a coach and to pray after football games. I felt like I finally crossed that finish line. And I'm sure the school wasn't going to lose any sleep over me retiring. So I thought I'd go out on top.
So is that the whole story? I understand that they were doing several things to make sure that you weren't so comfortable. Is that true? Michael, you want to answer that?
Yeah, and thanks for having us on, Glenn. You know, Coach is probably too humble to admit that even though this historic Supreme Court victory in Coach's favor and a court order directing Bremerton School District that they cannot retaliate against him in any way, it appears that that's exactly what they're doing. They refused to issue him a coach's locker. They wouldn't let him. They wouldn't issue him a coach's shirt or sweatshirt like the other coaches got. They wouldn't list him on the athletic department website. They didn't list him on the coach's roster for the game. They didn't issue him a play card before the game. They ostracized him. They made him out to be a pariah. They wouldn't even let him participate in the traditional pregame meal with the opposing team coaches. And it sounds like we're still investigating. They may even have directed the players to stay away from him during the game and not to have anything to do with him. So really poisoning the well, because it's been 8 years. So these players don't really know Coach the way that the players did when he was there as a longtime coach. And now here he comes back, after this Supreme Court win, and he's treated like a pariah. So I think most people would probably say to themselves, gosh, who would want to work in an environment like that where you're supposed to be a coach, you're supposed to be working with the other coaches and the players, and they're not even letting him do his job, and they're treating him like, just like I said, like a pariah.
Did you feel that way, Joe?
I felt a little uncomfortable. You knew that I knew this was not going to be a picnic. You knew that it was a hostile environment to go into. They were being forced to take me back. Just in their statements that they were releasing, kept saying this 8-year distraction that I was. And, the First Amendment and religious liberty is not a distraction to me. So, yeah, it was just little things all along the way. And I was expecting it.
Well, you shouldn't have. I mean, that's against the law, right, Michael?
Yeah, it looks like what they've done meets the classic definition of retaliation, and First Liberty Institute is investigating this to see if that's actually the case, and if so, we're prepared to do what we need to do. If we need to suit up again with Coach, he knows we've got his back. No Marine. That's the one thing. I'm a Marine as well, and we learned you don't fight alone. So we've got Coach's back, just like we always have. It'll be fun to go to battle with him once more. It's unfortunate that we may have to do that. We hope we don't have to. But when you've got a bully like Bremerton School District that starts acting like this, just so petty, right, and just treating him like this and not even really letting him be a part of the team. And it's like they're saying, well, technically we're complying with the court order, right? Where the court told us we couldn't fire him, we have to reinstate him as a coach. Okay, we'll do that. But if we can make his life as miserable as possible, then maybe he'll just, he'll resign on his own. And so it sure looks like that's exactly what they tried to do, Glenn.
Well, I will tell you, if you can prove that, Bremerton is a pretty well-off community. At least it used to be when I lived up in that area. Money doesn't talk; it screams. And if they were doing that, they need to be taught a lesson, and that lesson will most likely really come ringing home to them when money is involved. Joe, I have to tell you, I feel so bad for you because in some ways. I mean, I chose it, but in some ways, I don't like conflict. I don't like arguing. I don't like any of, much of my job. But I chose it, and I feel compelled to do it as it's the right thing. But oftentimes I'll have a conversation with my wife and go, I'm not doing anything that I want to do because this is hanging over the country. And you don't have that necessary, well, maybe you do, that necessary obligation to stand up. And you did it, and you won, and you had to be thinking, finally, I'm out of this, and I can get my life back, and I want to just do what I want to do. How did that feel when you thought, oh, crap, here it comes?
Yeah, pretty much you nailed it right there, Glenn. Yeah, I said, oh, crap. And it just kept coming. And, I am tired. I don't want to fight anymore. And, I just wanted to coach football. I wanted to finish out, my career the way that I wanted to on my terms. And it was just unfortunate that I met resistance along the way. But, being a Marine and being American, you cannot rely on the president to help us or the Congress to help us or even our local representatives. No, we have to stand up as Americans, and we have to do the fighting. We have to stand up on our own 2 feet and say enough is enough. And so I was obligated to fight this fight. And right now, I feel like I can continue that fight under my own terms, not under the umbrella of a school district, and stand up for other people's rights and help them out.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Coach. I just think you've had an incredible burden to bear. I mean, look at how much time our government has wasted. Think of the manpower that we have spent in just arguing back and forth nonsense things, the money that has been spent. Look at what the GDP, how it's, the man hours and money, all of this craziness that is occupying so many people's lives right now. Think of the waste and what we could have created. But instead, we're just doing this. I commend you for staying in the fight. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, brother. You keep up the fight too, man. I couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you. Also, Michael, thank you. First Liberty Institute. You guys are amazing. What is your web address?
FirstLiberty.org.
Okay, FirstLiberty.org. This is an organization that if you have $1, you have $100,000. This is an organization that you should invest in. And it's, you get a tax rebate if that's what you want. But it's so important, the work that they're doing. Michael, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Can you imagine that?
No. I mean, it's been a disgraceful process from the beginning. Thank God. I mean, First Liberty has been great on this and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, a lot of these big religious liberty rulings you hear about in the Supreme Court are pushed through by this particular organization, which does great work. I mean, as being an individual going through that has got to be, just torture. Just torture.
Imagine.
8 years,
I mean, he's
a long
coach.
Freaking time.
He just wanted to coach high school football.
Yeah.
And he's had to serve his country after he already served his country as a Marine.
Sure.
He has to spend another 8 years serving his country with his life torn up.
Because I always, once this had happened to him, right, it became a larger story about religious liberty to the country, right? Not, to him too, but also like I thought his personal interactions with this school were over. I didn't think he'd actually want to go back to the school and coach there. And that really does seem to be what he wanted to do. That was it. And of course, they didn't even make that easy on him, which is massive. Massively stupid decision by the school district.
Just spiteful. Spiteful.
I mean, this guy takes this seriously. I don't know if you've noticed the last 8 years.
I have to tell you, I hope they sue. If it's true, I hope they sue them for every dime they can squeeze out of that school district. It's time people start to pay with jail time I got to get to this story in Georgia because it is fantastic and horrifying what they found. But they need to start paying for what they did in jail, and they have to start paying civil fines, I think. Start using the court system because they have distorted it and destroyed it. You want to do this? Okay, we'll put on the big boy pants. Come on, let's go. I mean, not me, but somebody else can do that.